Thank you very much, Brian, and my congratulations to you in chairing this rather challenging event. And it is a challenging event, not just the name and the title, but obviously it represents very well the situation we're in. I would like to join with my colleague presidents in thanking all of the participants so far in the panel, which is looking at sustainable, inclusive and participatory societies. And in my commentary this afternoon, I will address each of these in interrelated dimensions. As Martin Luther King said 50 years ago, all life is interrelated, is something we should keep squarely in mind when discussing the future of European project and our role as civil society in shaping it. Allow me to begin with the topic of sustainable societies. Perhaps more than any other European ambition, the objective of sustainability is at the heart of our group Diversity Europe. Whichever component our group looks at, whether it's from the environmentalist perspective, farmers, consumers, the social economy, SMEs, social NGOs, liberal professions, everyone has a role to play and is impacted by the objectivity of European sustainability. And this is because sustainability is above all a societal project where the economic, social and environmental dimensions in our communities are completely intertwined. And I've said this before and I'll repeat it again. If we looked at our society in 2019, before this COVID crisis, we would have probably thought we're coming somewhat out of the crisis, lots of problems. We would have never thought we would be challenged in the way we are with the current health crisis. What a change, and what, in one sense, a tragedy, but also what a place for opportunities. I suppose the pandemic has offered opportunities to ensure that the recovery is not dealt with in isolation. And the fear that we will resort and return to a very narrow type of recovery based on austerity, based on methods that have not worked really well in the past, is the fear that many people in civil society have, and avoiding that must be at the heart of our recovery. In other words, the EU can only lead globally in climate protection if we manage the green transition socially as well as economically. We will only achieve the Green Deal production and consumption objectives. If we transit towards a circular economy using innovative entrepreneurship by key civil society players such as the social economy, and all EU policies from sustainable food, farm to fork, energy transition, even sustainable and smart mobility, it must be anchored in social innovation and cohesion. Which brings me to the second part of my intervention, on inclusivity. Dr. Sean Healy touched on this greatly in his speech, and I think we really need to remember that if we fail to include civil society in the social dialogue discussions, then we have effectively excluded millions of people, millions of groups from actually participating in what is the Conference of the Future of Europe. It is my belief that we need to imagine and build resilient, equal, sustainable communities and societies. This requires bottom-up initiatives. It requires the embracing of new definitions of well-being and development beyond GDP. As I've said, we used it very well to measure, but if you take the measurements of 2019, would you have predicted where we are now? And would you have seen the situation where health could threaten the wealth of our society? What is certain is that Europe of today and tomorrow will be a society that will have either come out of this crisis with some credibility that we will not be making the same mistakes again, that we will not be repeating the same kind of mantras, that we must only shape a recovery based on financial austerity, financial recovery only. If we continue down that road, we will again walk ourselves into another crisis, another pandemic. I hope not. I don't want to be depressing, but we have to be ready for any future ones. Ladies and gentlemen, may I conclude to the various people who are listening in. You have listened in and you are participating for a very good reason. And you have stayed even through the technical difficulties. And maybe it is the excellent chairperson, who of course is Irish, but let's leave that aside. You are here because you really want to make sure that you have a say and a voice in a society that does not repeat the past mistakes, that does not go back to where we were. So with that thought, let us hope that these deliberations, along with many more, will bring a very different, just, inclusive society to being. Thank you.